Alrighty, I started walking at about 6:15 this morning, which was pretty good. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm, which was great. And I don't know, today should be a good day. It's still quite smoky. That's not just morning fog. But there's a shortcut that I get to take today that lopped off 9 or 10 miles and should make the elevation gain and loss a lot easier for the most of it. So I'm hoping that'll feel good, and I'm hoping that means that I can get like at least 30 miles up trail, if not further, because it lops off 9 or 10 of those. So that should be good. Granted, there's no reason for me to do that, because it seems like I'm going to get this Skycomish not even on Sunday, but on Saturday. And the post office doesn't open until 11:30 on Monday. So I'm a little peeved about that, but it's okay. Also, I don't know if this is actually a thing, because, I grew up on the East Coast where there aren't many wildfires. It's pretty rare, but with all the smoke, I feel like it makes it hotter. Like, I feel like we're not close to the fire, but it feels like it's kind of like makes it a sauna a bit, because it's, not even 7 a.m. and I'm dripping sweat. But also the low was only low 60s last night, so it's also just maybe a little warmer than usual anyway. But yeah, I don't know. It is crazy because of the smoke how red the sun is in the sky. It doesn't show it very well on video, but it's really interesting. I think all of that hanging in the air, maybe some of it's fog, but I think it's all smoke. You can see it's really quite thick if it is all smoke. Like I said, it could be partially fog, but you can definitely smell and feel the smoke for sure. But other than that, life is good. And it's not nearly as bad here as it is further south on trail. I heard from a friend, I don't know if I mentioned this already, I may have yesterday, but a lot of people are going to be skipping from White Pass to Snoqualmie, because even though I think it's still just White Pass to Chinook Pass that's closed, which is 30 miles, Snoqualmie's another 70 on top of that, and that's the skip I did because I was sick and my feet were screwed up and I had my interview to get to, but because the wildcat fire has been growing so quickly, when I showed up to White Pass, it was 50 acres. When I left, it was like 260. When I got to Snoqualmie, it was 2,000 something. Now it's 5,000 or 6,000 acres. And last I checked, still totally uncontained, although they're working very hard on it. But because of that, the smoke is really, really bad. And I think that most of the smoke here is from that fire. There's a couple other large fires that it could be from, but I think it's mostly from the wildcat. And so I heard from my friends that they were having to skip from White Pass to Snoqualmie just because of the smoke, really. The AQI there was like 150, 220 at times, they were saying. And here, at least last I checked, which was yesterday, I don't have cell service, it was 97 to 100-ish, which, is still not great. Like, once you get above 100 is when it's, unhealthy for sensitive groups or whatever, I think. But, that's got nothing on 220, I can't imagine. So I'm hoping it doesn't get worse here, though, because if it does get, a lot worse, it could be very unfun. But then we'll just suffer until Stevens and then figure out what to do. So we'll see, but I don't think it should get too much worse, because even though the wildcat is big and is growing, we're not that close to it. I think it's at least 40 miles as the crow flies and obviously getting further every day that we hike more. But also I don't know a lot about wildfire and smoke from wildfire behavior, so it could get pretty thick, especially if it's combining with some of the other, like I think Sugarloaf Fire is a similar distance away in a different direction and it's like 6,000 acres. There's like Pumas to the north east, I think, that's like 3,000. And they're all, none of them are like close, but, and they shouldn't combine, because I guess if the wind's blowing a certain direction, it should only bring the smoke from one of those. But I don't really know, so we'll see. All right, that is Peat Lake, which is along the cutoff route. And I think we're about to get to where you go into the Waptus Pass Trail, which is the one quite steep climb. It seems to kind of go directly perpendicular to the contour lines, which will be fun. But I don't think it's crazy long, and it's cutting off a lot of other climbs and descents from, the normal PCT, so it'll be fine. All right, I am almost back to where it connects to the PCT. The side trail, the alternate route, was like pretty hard, but I think worth it for cutting off 10 miles. Or 9, I don't know, 9 or 10, I don't remember. But even though it's 11, I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna stop for lunch, maybe right here. Even though it's a little earlier than usual, yeah. I'm having quite a hard time, sort of how I was yesterday after lunch, which I'm not sure if it's just like the heat and the smoke and getting over the cold, and like the terrain is definitely harder than like, Oregon and the first part of Washington, at least to me. So I don't know if it's that or like what, but I just feel really tired and hot and out of it. So I'm going to take another break, even though I've been taking a lot of breaks today. But I think I'm going to shorten my day a bit. Sorry. I was going to do 21 miles, not including the miles that I cut off with the shortcut. But I think I'm going to cut that down to like 18. So I have less than 3 miles left. Just because I'm kind of not feeling it. And also, even if I cut it down to 18, which is 27 with the miles I skipped from the shortcut, tomorrow there's another like shortcut you can take that essentially just takes you off of the PCT into the highway a lot earlier, because it takes you further west on the highway, which is where I need to go anyway, because I'm trying to go to Skykomish, not Leavenworth. And so I think I'm going to take that, and that'll also make tomorrow like an 18, or maybe a 20, I don't know, I need to look. Which shouldn't be too bad. No, I think it's 18. And also it's like I have to stay there until basically noon on Monday anyway for my freaking package. So like, what's the point of getting to town? Like, even getting to town tomorrow night is like pretty early, because then I have to stay tomorrow night and all of Sunday and into Monday. So I feel like getting there any earlier just doesn't make any sense at all. So that is to say, I think it's fine that I'm shortening my day today. But yeah, I'm going to sit here for a while. Oh my god, and try to cool off. I'm taking another break like a mile and a half later. Because I feel like crap with the heat. Which at least I know is not just me, because someone passed me on my previous break and said something about the heat. Because sometimes I wonder, I feel like it can be hard to tell if you're just being a wimp or if you are like on the verge of heat exhaustion. um, Especially like, I don't know, I feel like I always have a like worse story to compare it to, so you fall in the trap of going, it's not that bad. Um, Especially like being into endurance athletics, there's a lot of like, no, surely I'm just being a wimp, surely it's fine, when it's like, maybe not, I don't know. And it should be fine as long as I'm taking a lot of breaks. I'm trying to hydrate. At least it's the elevation gain chills out after right now, and so the next mile and a half should be a lot flatter. And then I'll be at camp, and it's at a water source. There's a lake, so I should be able to cool off soon. But right now it's just tricky. And I'm trying to drink water, but I also only have like a limited amount. Um, it's like you need to rest, but also you need to get to camp where you can really rest and also have all the water you want. Um, but I do think I might be getting a little bit of heat exhaustion or close to it, so I'm trying to chill the hell out. I feel so bad, honestly. Okay, it is a little bit before 4. I was just sitting at the creek that's nearby for like over an hour, probably, or around an hour. There were a couple of people who were there when I got there. A through hiker that I know, whose name I forgot, a section hiker who he was annoying the shit out of me. And then Takeout showed up, and it was nice to see him. And I don't know, a couple other people passed through. But it was nice to talk to Takeout and the other through hiker for a while. The section hiker, even though he was annoying me, was also good to talk to. He said something about, and this is like, he said, he was like, this is very 7th grade, like through the grapevine. So I have no idea if this is true, but apparently there's some kind of word on the trail about not being able to go into Stehekin in the normal way, like having to go to Holden Village instead, or I don't even know. So I'll be interested to get service or like get to Skykomish and be able to figure out what that's about, if anything. It might be literally nothing. Because like when I looked at Watch Duty, which is like the fire app, literally yesterday morning, there was really no fires north of here that were like close enough to trail to be an issue. Maybe it was smoke for sure, which actually the smoke's kind of cleared up a bit just in the last half of today, which is really nice. So I'll be interested to see if something did pop up in literally the 2 days that we've been on trail, or what. I mean, I don't want there to be any issues that would make the last, 2 weeks of my hike harder or more complicated than they have to be. And also, when you're, or at least when I'm this exhausted, there's always a part of my brain that's like asking for a cop out, like to skip a part or whatever. And I don't really actually want that, especially like there have been points at which I have really wanted that on trail. This late in the game, I kind of just want to finish on time, or like without any real interruptions. But I'll be interested to see if there's actually any credence to that. Oh fuck, I'm so tired. Sorry. I hope I sleep as well tonight as I did last night, because I was out. I may be struggling in other areas, but that, at least last night, was wonderful. But yeah, I should have about 18 miles to the highway tomorrow, and then hitch into Skykomish. And it's a Saturday, so that shouldn't be too hard. someone also suggested while I was down at the water, and I thought that this was smart because I probably wouldn't have otherwise, because I was complaining about having to stay until Monday at basically noon to get my package, and someone was like, you should ask at like the bar if anyone knows anyone who can open up the post office for you and get your package, which is a good point because it is such a small town. Like, it's like 200 people. That actually might be an option. And also, like, yes, through hikers send their stuff there, but it's not like most people go into Leavenworth, and it's probably not like super annoying for them because they're probably not actually asked that all the time, I hope. So I might see if I can get out of there before Monday midday. But yeah, that's all for tonight. I've been blabbering enough. I'm gonna set up my tent and eat my ramen and lay around until I go to sleep.